All right, fellas, so today we're gonna go over kind of a little cheat sheet on how you can still lose weight, burn fat, if you're not able to follow like a strict meal plan. And like, I get it, man, meal plans can be daunting, they can seem hard, they can be stressful, like, you know, if you're, and I've done that, like if you're 3, 4, or 5 days in and then like you completely fuck up and you're just like, ah, man, what am I gonna do? So if you just want something that's like a little bit easier to follow by, we got some stuff we're gonna go over today. So number one though, it's always gonna be calorie deficit. That's gonna be your main concern here, because if you're not eating at a calorie deficit, you are never going to lose that weight. You're never going to shed the fat. It's just never going to go away. And then a couple other things you can do is you can eat less and you can move more. So eating less means, you know, a couple things you can do. You can use smaller portion sizes. That's a huge one. You can cut out like soda and like juices, like those liquid calories, all that extra sugar that adds up so quickly when you're just chugging down a soda and you got 60 grams of sugar in there. Like that's, you know, 240, that's 240 calories right there just in a can of soda. You know, that adds up real quick when you're trying to be at a calorie deficit. Another way is you can also just kind of wait before you go and have a second serving. Let your stomach actually fill up. You know, other options are you can really just fill up and hydrate. Hydration is going to be key, because a lot of times when you think you are hungry, you are literally just thirsty. Like I do this with even my own kids. They're like, oh, I'm starving, even though they just ate 30 minutes ago. And I'm like, oh no, you just need some water. And then like they drink some water and they're good to go. But water is key, and it also is key in losing and burning fat in general. So that's a huge one. So another one is you can move more, okay? Moving more right there. That is so important to get, like, you know, I'm a big proponent of let's go get those 10,000 steps in. Like track your steps and do whatever you can. I've got clients that if they have a couple breaks a day, they go out, they go for a walk, or they do some burpees, or, you know, and they wake up extra early in the morning so they can go for a, you know, a 10 or 15 minute walk, and they do that again in the evening. You might be able to get 2,000 steps in, you know, in 15 minutes if you're really moving. And so if you get those 10,000 steps in a day, it's like a no brainer. So if you're getting 10,000 steps a day, plus you're eating more and you're or eating less and you're hydrating, all those combined right there alone is enough to make you adequately be able to lose weight a lot easier. And another way, this is a huge one. Whole foods. If you eat whole foods, and let's go over whole foods. Whole foods are going to be lean red meats, fish, chicken, and fruits and vegetables. You know, there's some dairy in there. If you're eating that diet, like 99% of the, or not even 90% of the time, your body will lose weight almost no matter what. Because you're cutting out the processed foods, you feel fuller longer, you're actually getting vitamins and nutrients and minerals that your body needs, and your overall health is just gonna be so much better. But every single client that I have that is able to adhere to an actual whole foods diet that's not wanting to count macros and calories, they always end up losing weight and burning fat. Now me, I like my carbs, you know, so it's hard for me to do that one. But then on the flip side, there would be weeks where I'm pretty much only eating a whole food diet. And you know, so you can just you can just switch out your rice and your you know, your pastas for more fruit. And fruit, your gut biome will thank you, your body and everything, your just overall self will be way better, feeling a lot better if you go to a whole foods diet, okay? And then another huge one that you really should watch are gonna be your butters and oil. Butters and oils, okay? So if you're, every time you're cooking up, say some eggs, and you're just pouring a bunch of oil in that pan, you're probably getting an extra couple hundred calories minimum, because 1 gram of fat, which is oils and butters and all that, has 9 calories. And that adds up real quick if you're pouring in 3, 4, or 5 tablespoons of that stuff every single time you eat. And that's, I mean, and that's a no-brainer. Everybody uses butters and oils, right? But you can use, you just have to be more conscious of what you're using. So you can use a smaller amount if you like. For myself, if I'm really trying to cut those out, like, you don't have to have butter and oil in the pan. Yeah, your eggs might stick, but get a stainless steel pan or a different type of pan where you can scrape that egg off. Because that's what I do. I don't use any butters or any oils, even though I love my grass-fed butter. I want to put it on everything. But you just got to realize you cannot cook with it everything. When you go out to eat, everything you're eating is just smothered in cooking oils, and the amount of excess fat that you are eating, you don't even realize, because it's so small and you don't even taste it, and it just goes down, and next thing you know, you've added way too many calories for the day, and you're not eating in a calorie deficit anymore. And then there's 2 more areas in which I really try to tell my clients about. It's going to be your sauces and your snacks. So I'm a huge sauce guy. I like to cook and dip everything in food, right? Or in sauces. Now, if you just start to learn what nutrition is, I want to tell everybody you should learn what your macros are. So you just know when you turn over a food label, you don't necessarily have to track everything, but you can turn that food label off over and say, all right, this sauce has 18 grams of fat for two tablespoons and 27 grams of sugar. And then you find an alternative, which I have a ton of those. Like you can reach out to me in my, on my Instagram or something, and we can talk about that. I have so many options that make your food taste delicious. Like, so there's that one that has all that extra fat and all those extra sugar in there versus one that I get, it's got 0 grams of fat and it's got like 7 grams of sugar per serving. So you can really utilize that a lot more. But the big one right here is gonna be snacks. And people are always like, how do you control your snacking? Well, for me, I've got 20 years of it, so I've got quite a bit of discipline. But even then, like if it's in the house, I do go towards eating snacks when I shouldn't. It's when I'm bored. It's when I'm, just chilling at the house. It's when I wake up in the middle of the night, when I have easily accessible, not good food that's not in alignment with what I'm trying to do with my health and my fitness, I end up eating it. So what I tell my clients is, if you really want to hone in your diet, right? If you really want to make that difference, and if you have an extra amount of fat that you really need to lose, one of the biggest things is you just don't do any snacks. You keep them out of the house, out of sight, out of mind. If they're not in your house and you don't have access to them, chances of you eating them are obviously much lower. Now, if you have kids, it's a little different story. I've got 2 kids myself, so I get that. So I'm really conscious of, like I said, my nutrition labels. So like, we'll go get these Unreal bars from Costco. They have like 4 grams of fat and just a couple grams of sugar in one bar. One bar will hold me over. And there is so many snacks out there that you can look at. As long as you flip that label over, you're like, okay, so it doesn't have 17 grams of fat, 27 grams of sugar, and just 2 grams of protein. Because that's how most of that stuff is. Even those protein bars you guys are eating, those protein cookies, a lot of that is just processed crap and full of not good stuff for you. Like there's in Costco, again, or anywhere you go, they have all these bars and they're like, oh, they're healthy and this and that. It's literally just straight peanut butter and it's got 18 grams of fat in it. That's not going to help you lose weight. If you want to lose fat, you got to eat less fat. And again, you don't have to necessarily track every single calorie in order to lose weight, but as long as you're conscious of it, that's going to be a huge proponent of you guys losing weight. And the last one I'm going to talk about is protein first. Protein first. If you are making it a point to get an adequate amount of protein in every single meal that you are eating, you are going to greatly help yourself with losing the fat, because not only are you getting protein and building lean muscle if you're working out, so that helps you burn more calories, but eating more protein in the beginning, especially if it's got a decent amount of healthy fat in it, like a good ratio, it's going to keep you fuller longer. And then if you eat that first, it prevents you from eating all the extra crap at the end. If you after you have eaten your protein, you're like, okay, I'm actually pretty full. Now I'm not going to eat 300 grams of carbs because, I'm starving. So yeah, again, so this is going to be, a primary way for you guys to lose weight. That's right here. You're trying to eat in a calorie deficit, eat less, move more, 10,000 steps, make sure you're hydrating, eating a whole food diet, really cutting down on that butter and oil, cutting down on those snacks, looking at your sauces and looking at the nutrition labels and just seeing how bad some of them really are will, really bring a light to your mind. And then protein first is going to be the biggest one. So this right here is how I live my day to day. Just basically off this right here. And that's what's able to keep me lean and keep me in the shape that I want to, just because I've already put the time into, understanding my nutrition labels. So I'm hoping, because this helps me, I'm hoping it can help you too. So until next time, I'll see you guys.